And I'm happy to be here today with all of you and try to answer also all your question. But as we said, we will reserve some time at the end to answer all the questions. So happy to be here, and thank you again, Simplilearn, for inviting us.
Yeah, Ashwini Kalkura, as you can see my name on the screen. I'm also an SPCT, been an SPCT for 4 years now, and been an SPC for little more than 8 years. So one of the, I can say early adopters of SAFe in India. I'm based out of Bangalore in India, and currently I'm in work for Simplilearn, right? And overall, I have a 24 plus years of experience. I mean, out of that, last 8 plus years have been mostly and predominantly on Scaled Agile Framework. So I train, I teach, I consult, I advise, I do a lot of things. Sugam, over to you.
Thank you, Michaela. Thank you, Ashwini. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because I could see we have participants from different parts of the world. Thank you so much for joining in for this, the first webinar of the series, and I'm sure we'll have many more to come in. I'm Sugam Chitre. I'm a country head for Scale Agile India. I've been with Scale Agile for nearly 4 years, same like Michaela. I'm based out of Mumbai. So anything on SAFe, if you want to get more information, you can always reach out to me. The first point of contact would be Simplilearn, but anything, if I can help you out with, please, you are most welcome to reach to me. And then enjoy your webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So again, one thought and a note for this webinar. We are not going to make it a one-side approach of, okay, somebody is just talking, right? Rather, we want to keep it more conversational. So this is where, what we thought is, I'll share some basic slides and just talk about, what is our thought and what is our starting point of these webinars. And we'll take it from there. I think Sugam also will ask us some questions in between, whatever he has, and he had some things in mind. So we'll start from that, right? So this is, hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So again, title and stuff, that's good enough. So the format that we are going to have is, we'll have some generic suggestions to start with, right? So because this is, as Sugam called out, this is the start of maybe a series of webinars and maybe meetups and conferences that we might plan, right? So this is a starting of that part. So this could be, these are some generic suggestions that we see that works best for most of the agile roles that we have. Yeah. And to start with, we are going to share our insights around 3 primary roles in any agile team, which is the Scrum Master, the Product Owner, and if you're working as a leader, if you are taking care of the transformation, what could be the roles, responsibilities, and the certifications that could help. Right? So we're going to talk about that from that perspective. And as always, there is always an opportunity to connect back to us after this webinar to take the discussion forward. I think if you want to deep dive from Simplilearn perspective, we are happy to take those questions. I think Aparna will also end the session with kind of point of contact and how do we connect further. Yeah. Again, while there are slides that I have, as I said, we will also try to kind of talk about our experiences looking at the industry in the last maybe a decade, right? So a decade long, how the roles have evolved, how the certification as such has evolved, and what is our viewpoint today, right? So we will talk about that. Yeah. I'm not going to read much in the slide. As I said, Scrum Master, Product Owner, and Leader. That's the 3 portions that we have kind of put it across, because we definitely, me and Mikkel definitely have some anecdotes to share as well, not just about the certification and what SAFe has to offer, but little more than that, right? Yeah, here is where I'll start with a small comment. I think Scrum Master is something which most of us in the agile industry aspire to be, because that's a role where you don't usually have a direct report. You are not a manager. You are kind of a Zen and a guru types, right? So to call out, right? And the interviewing part also is many a times we talk about Scrum Masters as somebody who can show the interest and get the people's attention without having an authority, right? So if you start with that thought process, so Mikhail, do you have anything to add on to that?
Well, is if you want more anecdotal, because and this happened to me many times actually, talking throughout agility or SAFe, but also the lean agile approach, the lean agile way of working. So many leaders come up and saying, well, this is great, because actually the only way we had in our company to evolve in our role was to get more accountability, get more people to manage, and that was the only way we could start growing within the company and become a leader, right? And with what we call in Agile the segregation of power, this is not the only way anymore, because as you were mentioning, so the Scrum Master is taking care of this part of the team and is kind of coaching the team, not just in their ability to deliver fast or faster, but also in their ability to get better at what they are doing. So more this how the things are going to work, the process, etc. But you have also others. So, and we will talk about product owners later. So, which is more the what needs to be done part. And many leaders were just saying, well, this is fantastic, because also people that do not want to take over responsibility over other people might be able to evolve in their role. And I think this is, overall speaking, one of the best advantages we can envisage here today in our conversation. And this has been in many conversations I had with also senior leaders, and that was something that always, or pretty much was emerging in these type of conversations. So I just wanted to share this with you.
Yeah. And I think, while you were talking about that one, again, I also have put that one as an aspirational thing for some of the Scrum Masters, right? So there is always a question of, okay, I'm a Scrum Master, what next? So this is where I've seen many of my friends itself evolving from a Scrum Master role to mostly an advisor role and a leadership roles as well, right? So because as I started with, a Scrum Master is more making things done without having an authority, right? So this is where they get mostly that soft skill part automatically, right? And that kind of also helps them to move into the leadership roles effectively, where most organizations now are looking for leaders, who are coaches, natural coaches, rather than a command and control person. They are mostly a coach, right? So those kind of roles are, something I've seen the Scrum Masters evolving into. And specifically, if you look from a Scaled Agile perspective, you have a Advanced Scrum Master, a new concept-wise, a new certification coming in. While Advanced Scrum Master always was the certification, but the new way of the Advanced Scrum Master coming in. You also have an aspirational RTE role in a Scaled Agile environment. And if you want to move towards more technical side, also, that's where we see a mindset, culture, and the technical practices kind of combined within the DevOps course, right? So, again, many a times, it might look like Scrum Master is the end of the world in a Scrum team, but if you are open and receptive for learning, I think knowledge is something, nobody can take it away from you. Apart from just having a certification as a badge, right? So knowledge is something nobody can take it away from you, and that's where it also adds up to your experience of working with people, making things done, getting things done. Again, I'll reiterate: without having an authority, getting things done is not so easy many times, but that gets you into a place where you are a people person. I mean, you are also understanding the context and the complexity.
I think the beauty of let's say the Scrum Master or starting working as a Scrum Master that after a certain number of years, so you can choose. You can choose to become more a coach, and so starting on a team level, because Scrum Master it doesn't only means that you will be working in Scrum, right? But this is
Yeah.
another topic. So you can evolve into a more coach role if you want. So in becoming also after being team coach, so coaching an entire train as SPC or even becoming enterprise coach, etc. So this is the one possibility you have. The other one is already mentioned by you, Ashwin, is also, well, taking responsibility not just over one team, but over an entire train, so which is the release train engineer role. And then maybe if in your organization there are solution trains, so evolve into a solution train engineer, so I'm taking care of bigger teams, following the same principles and applying the SAFe practices, but for sure having more responsibility in terms of delivery, right? And I think this is also one of the beauty the Scrum Master role is bringing. And as you said, is definitely related to people that are more empathic, that they want to work more with people together, being influential, and probably not wanting to focus on the product, because for this one we have the product owner, product management path. We will talk in a minute. But I think it's probably worth starting also with basic certification. I would also recommend before you start looking into SAFe, probably have experience on a team level and maybe some certification from scrum.org or other on a team level, other type of certificates, because definitely the SAFe certificates build upon them.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
that's it.
I think, I mean, while the SAFe certification like SSM starts from the basic, but if you already have those basic certification, it also adds up to your learning in terms of, okay, I already know this one. I understand now that, okay, SAFe is also built over and above that, right? So that kind of puts up that basic understanding. And that's where we kind of call it as a recommended prerequisite, not a mandated prerequisite, right? And by the way, the advanced Scrum Master one, you might want to kind of explore. Any of you who's on the call is already working as a Scrum Master and already have an SSM certification. You might want to look at the new way of delivery for the advanced Scrum Master. It's not a 2-day classroom only anymore. It's mostly an immersive learning where you'll go through some of the content even before coming to a session, and then session is mostly going to be more practical, and it will also entitle you to a few more credentials from SAFe now, which I'll keep it under the wrap for now, right? So to say, I think, I mean, that's also a nice way Scaled Agile has come up with, rather than just making people sit for 2 days in a class. Make the learning as a journey, a little bit of a journey where they go through and experience certain things, and maybe even before coming to a session, try to implement some parts in the organization and try to see, I mean, how does it work for their context, right? Even before coming to a session with the instructor. And then with the instructor also, it's more of a discussion and a dialogue than just a slideshow and the classroom, right?
Yeah, and especially for advanced courses, this is important because it's not just about theory. It's
Yeah.
much more about sharing experience and combining the theoretical part, which is coming from the field and the experience we got from all the SAFe implementations and all the teams and all the arts working out there.
Yeah.
But also bringing your own, and it's the same, and I don't know how many of you are part of a community of practice or similar, is the same as you are contributing to a group of peers and bringing your own experience, your own challenges, also your own failures, because from failures you can learn a lot. And so it's this kind of different, yes, you have a learning part, which is based on your own pace, but then you have a lot of discussions with your peers and with facilitator that will help you throughout the discussion. So is a different approach, much modern, if you want. Even if I'm still convinced that 2-day courses are bringing a lot of value as well, but for more advanced courses, this type of format is probably more suitable.
I think, in SAFe, we used to call it as knowledge is not understanding. I think basically, you need knowledge, right? So that's where I think basic courses set you on that path. And when you are already mastered certain things, I think you want to go for an advanced course. That's where ASM and advanced SPC, those things come as a more of an understanding courses and certifications.
True.
Yeah, let's maybe move on to the product owner one, right? So I think second and the most important filler on any Scrum team is a product owner. And in SAFe, because of the complexities involved and multiple teams and the scaling part involved, you also have a product manager who takes care of those complexities and the content, right? While they are the content authorities, one thing I've heard repeatedly in the SAFe sessions that I've taken is a good or a bad product owner makes or breaks the team, right? So because they are setting a path for the teams to take care, right? So they are the ones, who are setting the vision or contributing to the overall vision of that particular art or the team in terms of being a product manager or a product owner. And in fact, if they don't clearly articulate what roadmap will take us to that road, you will end up somewhere else than what you're supposed to be, right? So that's where the product owner and the product manager roles come in very handy. And I think irrespective of a framework, I guess every organization strives to have a very good product managers, right? So I think, even if you look at Googles and Metas and Amazons of the world, they call out a product manager as someone who is a very key component, who understands the market, who understands the execution, and who can balance multiple things.
Yeah, maybe here two things I would watch for when we are talking about product owners, but also product managers. So first of all, they are not project managers, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm insisting on that because in many cases you see a tendency from some product owners wanting to taking over everything. So not just the things that needs to be done, so the product or the solution, or focusing on the part of what needs to be delivered, but also in the other domains. So how is it going to be delivered, and also influencing the other domains, which is definitely not what we are shooting for. So we want these democratic segregation of power in which every single power is balancing the other. So the Scrum Master is balancing the product owner, translated into our language. And the second one is also, I see the tendency, if a Scrum Master or a team coach easily can be both outside of the company, and it doesn't really require, it's nice to have, but it doesn't really require domain expertise or product solution expertise. And so you need to find a balance between maybe external consultant, internal people, people you hire, etc. So, but it's not that complex, I would say, in case of Scrum Master. Well, in case of product manager and product owners, it's slightly different because you need that product and solution domain expertise. So you need people that are aware of not just the soft skills, as Ashwin were mentioning, but also the deep knowledge of the solution and the solution context, and also have the ability to building bridges between the team delivering the value and delivering and working on the solution and the people consuming that. And this is not for everyone. So, and here is where we can see the collaboration between team coaches, Scrum Masters, and product owners and product managers. Because only if these two roles are working in a symbiotic way, then we will have a successful team. Because as you said, Ashwin, so a bad product owner can mess up all the team, as it could be the wrong Scrum Master, by the way. So you need to be careful also, considering that SAFe is normally in a bigger environment, so you don't have just one Scrum Master and one product owner, so you have many, and you need to build up diversity. You need to build up a team of people that have probably different expertise and different domain know-how, but the way they are collaborating together will make the difference at the end of the day.
Yeah. True. I mean, in fact, most large organizations also will have to adhere to a lot of compliances and regulations as well, right? So that's where I think that domain expertise, knowledge, and the know-how makes, again, I mean, that kind of puts a lot of credibility on you to be well aware of that one, right? And like always, like a Scrum Master, I mean, you can also start with some of the Scrum Alliance or Scrum.org courses. I mean, that puts a foundation for you on the product thinking part. When you are moving from a project to product thinking, I mean, that kind of puts the foundation there. And then you can start with a POPM, then maybe APM or the Agile Product Management as an aspirational course. And by the way, Agile Product Management is a course which I usually like to teach, right? So that's where it mostly goes from not just from a SAFe perspective, but from a real product manager's perspective in terms of the how do you kind of understand the market? How do you kind of understand, I mean, what is your specific market? How do you set strategies around building a product and actually selling a product at the end of the day and making actually money for the organization and for yourself, so to say, right? So.
Yeah, I tend to say for the APM course that is applying lean and agile principles and practices to the product management domain, which are definitely compatible to each other. And especially in the cyber physical domain and hardware domain, we see these being very important. So bringing a new way of working together with modern practices in product management is key for nowadays companies.
Yeah. And the last thought that we have is from a leadership perspective. Again, we are not restricting leader as a title, right? So it's not just a CXO or a VP of product development or a director or so. Anybody can be a leader. I mean, it's about, the responsibility that you are taking care of. Maybe, you are taking care of a portfolio management. That could be a leadership thought process. Or it could be about you are going in a technical direction. This is where you are an architect. You are a system architect or a solution architect or a enterprise architect. It could also be that some of the senior RTAs and the product managers, they also would look for or have an aspiration to become a consultant, have an aspiration to become an advisor as an internal or an external role capacity, right? So this is where certain paths, we have just carved out, saying that, okay, maybe you kind of either go into the lean portfolio management side of things or an architecture side of things, or aspirationally, you might want to think about SPC, or now also something coming up, advanced SPC, which will take you to a highest level of understanding in SAFe, so to say.
Yeah, I would say that is probably a natural evolution out of the three domains we were mentioning at the beginning. So the the product domain, so in terms of what needs to be done, the team or the how this is going to be done, which is embedded into the team level. And if you go on a higher level, for example, on a art, so you will have the system architect, but also considering the product or the Scrum Master and the team coach dimension, so which is taking care of the people of the team and the team evolution and the team being able to deliver faster. And you might have leaders coming out of these three dimensions and evolve into roles, as we were mentioning. So the RTE itself is a leadership role because it's taking care of a train, which is usually between 60 and 120 people, or even bigger. So solution train engineers, which is normally between 200 and 400 people, but also with the same focus. So if you will be solution train engineers, your focus will stay in the process and taking care of people domain. If you are evolving into a leadership role, focusing on the product and the solution, well, you might have you might be part of the solution management, and you might have a leadership role within this specific domain. But also you might have more technical knowledge base and more technical know-how. In this case, you will probably evolve from a system architect to a solution architect, etc. So being probably somewhere in the enterprise architecture role mode. And this is how we see the evolution of these three roles. So I have seen somebody posting also in the chat. So what is the first role to start? Well, it depends on where you are good at first. You're more technical people, if you're more people working on a specific solution or a specific product, or you have more this, let's say, ability to translate what customers want into solutions, well, this path will be probably best for you. Or if you want more to be in contact with people and you are a very good communicator and facilitator, well, probably your career path is going towards becoming Scrum Master, team coach, and then evolving into the two possibilities we were speaking at the beginning. So it really depends on what is your experience, what is your aim, and what is your background as well. So everything will count into it.
Yeah. And to just add a cherry onto the cake, we have something called as what I call as a hidden gems, right? So SAFe has come out with micro credentials and some of the SAFe skills. I've just I have the link here. Aparna is going to paste it on the chat window, right? So you can explore more. And these are mostly self-paced learnings, right? So self-paced learnings available from Scaled Agile. Some of them are training, again, classroom training available as well. I think for some of the SAFe skills and the credentials are available for SPCs to take as well, right? So you could get in touch with us to know a little bit more about what are these micro credentials and SAFe skills all about. Yeah, because there are certain things I think we need to go a little deeper. I mean, if you want to think about how do we kind of build a high performing team, right? Maybe you can have a credential around that one, which kind of mostly talks about what is that high performing team all about and how could you build one, right? As a Scrum Master, I mean, who is advancing your career and I mean, who is has a lot of experience there.
Right. Thanks, Ashwini. Thanks, Michele. Is there anything else that you would like to add just to close the session here?
Well, maybe just saying that there are a lot of certifications and training in SAFe. I would probably make two recommendations. So the first one is don't try to to exaggerate and make too many trainings and too many certification at the same time. So try to find your path through the dimension we were mentioning, but also the roles you would like to develop, and take your time, because the theory will just give you a little part of the tools and the practices you will need. So what is really going to help you is the real world practice, right? And of course, the theory will give you inputs and will give you the instrument, but then you need to practice all of this. And so if you will need to stay in the same role for a while. So you don't just start as a Scrum Master and after 6 months you pretend being an expert and jump into an RT role, for example. So take your time, because it's important, and there are roles that are pretty demanding. So don't underestimate this. And the second one is probably also inspired by what we said before. So really answer or ask yourself, what do you want to be when you are a big boy or a big girl, right? So what is your attitude? What is your passion? What are you good at? And really try to be guided by this, and not look into, oh, this is a good certification, I will make a lot of money out of it, because at the end it's not the right things to hear too, right? So that would be my 2 recommendations to give you to you.
And usually I tell this one to, anybody who wants to join, right? So I think learning advisors in Simplilearn always do that one. Like somebody is already convinced about a course, they kind of come and talk. But if they're not convinced or if they're confused, they always connect them to me as a trainer, right? So then the first thing that I ask is, okay, what is your current experience and what is your future goal, right? So these are the 2 things you'll have to start from, right? So I think, what are you doing currently? So is some certification or a knowledge going to add more value to you? That's first thing. The second thing is, okay, what is your future aspiration? So that what could be the starting point and what could be an aspirational goal for you over a period of time. So these are the 2 things that I want to look at.
Right. Got it. Sugam, do you have anything to add? I know there are a lot of questions. We'll come to that in just a few minutes, but anything to add to what Ashwini and Michele said? All right. Great. Let's just move ahead to the questions that we have. Someone posted a question about what role to start with. I think their question is answered. I think we had an elaborate answer on that, on what your passion is, what your strengths are, and play around your strengths. That's your answer, PV Thakur. But I'll just quickly pass on the first question that we got, which is, how does Scrum handle changes during a sprint, and what happens if new priorities emerge? Michele, do you want to go first here?
Well, I think it's off topic, this question, but I think it's pretty easy to answer. So sprint or iteration are just a measure or a time box. Yes. And of course, if we are in an agile world, we need to be resilient. We need to be able to adapt quickly, and especially if the iteration is a little bit longer, is not the usual 2 weeks, or even faster 1 week iteration is 3 or even 4 weeks. Well, we need to be flexible and possibly based on historical data, save some spare time as work will emerge, or if we have a something that will change dramatically our iteration commitment or our iteration backlog. Well, we probably need to rejoin as a team altogether and replan for it. So here Scrum and SAFe are very similar. The only difference, as always, is in SAFe, we are part of a bigger team, so a team of teams. And then the work we are doing and the reprioritization we are doing is affecting potentially other teams or the entire train. So we need just to be a little bit more careful about how to handle priorities that are emerging throughout the iteration.
Okay. Okay. Great. I hope the question was answered. Nil PRM. It'll be great if you guys can rename yourself and add your actual name there, just easier to address. And just a quick thing, because we were talking about roles, the different roles that you can take up, two major roles here that we highlighted. So just a extension of that would be to help us understand if you would like to take up any of these certification courses. So someone asked about the course fee and all of that. There are many certifications that you can take up, and I'm going to send you the link, to just the page that has all of these certifications here. But just to collect your interest here, I would like to know if you would be interested in taking up a course and you would want to know from a learning advisor as to which course is, fitting your career needs. Yeah. So I'll be sharing the link in a while, and with that, we'll just take the next question, which is very similar to what I just said. Someone has asked, Ashwini, you can take this, I guess.
Yeah.
You receive this on a daily basis. What is the need of a certification? I mean, in their career in general, as to how a certification in SAFe can help.
I would take it as more a generic question of any certification, right? So, again, end of the day, certification will, again, to be put it bluntly, certification will not, maybe just make your career, right? So, idea of a certification is an initiation, I would say. I would take any certification as a starting of a journey rather than an end of it, right? If you ask me specifically around SAFe, I took up SAFe Agile some 9.5 years back, and that initiated me into getting to know more about SAFe. And luckily, I was also involved in a SAFe transformation, and this also kind of helped me to get into a SPC class. That was 8.5 years back. And I took it as something I want to know a little bit more from someone who is very well known in the industry, right? All that we did was that, yeah. And that also actually connected to me to a lot of interesting people who kind of put that thought that, okay, you are an SPC now, and why not an SPCT, right? So again, I took it as a challenge to learn more about SAFe. And I think after 3-4 years of hard, smart, and all good work, right? So I was able to get there. Again, I will see it as a journey rather just as a certification and just to put something on a resume, right? Remember, any certification for that matter will initiate you into a new world. It's like, why do you travel, right? So, I'm in India, I travel out or I travel to different cities. Why do I travel, right? So I just want to explore and see how does it look like. And some places I might not like too much, but at the same time, I'm happy that I wanted to go there. I went there, and I could make a decision on whether it was a nice thing or not, right? So at least, that happiness is there, right? It's also like becoming an entrepreneur, right? So some of us, who have an itch to become an entrepreneur, if you don't become that one, that will always be a thought in your mind. I could have become that one, right? So you try it once, that might initiate you into a lot of new areas. And trust me, usually a new certification always introduces you to some of the nicest people on the planet, maybe, right? So who know a little better than you.
Yeah.
I would take it up on that one. And also the last bit, if you are earning, you should put some percentage of your money back into learning. Simple, right?
Yeah. I think that perfectly answers the question. Abdul, I think we took this question about what is advisable on a beginner level, SSM or ASM. Maybe just a quick note on Michele, if you can just answer this.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend the SAFe Scrum Master first, because the ASAM is an advanced course and is not just about talking about different topics. It's also expecting you being an expert and having some years of experience, having worked as a Scrum Master, team coach, because it's building on that. So I would definitely start with SSM first.
And by the way, all the advanced courses in SAFe, I mean, if you are taking that, it assumes that you have already gone through a basic set of courses, and I mean, you also have some bit of experience in SAFe. And then, as an instructor, I mean, I take you from that place. I'm not going to talk about some of the introductory part, or we are not going to spend too much time on the basic things, right? So it's always advisable on the advanced courses to have either a basic certification and some experience, or if no certification, lot of good practical experience.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Now, just moving on to the next question that Rishi has. I mean, he is PMI ACP certified. So will the SAFe certification help me on top of PMI ACP? Or, I mean, his question is, will it be really valued? He needs advice and guidance on that. Ashwini, if you can.
I'll take this question. I think these are the cases where, I mean, you will need to have a specific one-on-one interaction, because I mean, I can't really say yes or no for this one. Rather, I would understand, I mean, your current context and your aspiration, plus the opportunities that exist for you to utilize those new learnings, right? So I would look at that that way. And I think the best first bet for you is a learning advisor from Simplilearn, right? So they would make the right connections. Whatever they can answer, they will answer, and also they will connect you to the right person before suggesting you a course or not suggesting you to go through that, right? I think, I mean, both are right approach and right ways, depending on the current context and an immediate need and also a future need.
Right.
I know I have not answered exactly the question, but that's the right answer.
Got it. So couple of more questions that are very similar. I'll just take one question because it seems that the learner is a little bothered here. So are certifications really important? Employers nowadays value hands-on experience than certifications, because considering CSP or CSM has there's no exam and we make payment and then they're certified. So is it really valued? I mean, they're giving an example of a certification here, but are these really valued? And how, if they have to pursue one, how will they make sure that the employees recognize it?
Okay, I mean, maybe I'll take from an Indian context, right? So to be put it out really bluntly, so to say, again, don't look at a certification as something that adds value to your resume, but it initiates you into something that you don't know. And trust me, I mean, if you are going to a CSM class or a SAFe class or an SPC class, right? The trainers, they've been in the industry for a lot of time. They have been vetted by the best in the world. I mean, who have done a lot of good work, right? So again, I'm not saying just an SPCT or an SPC, even a CST or a PST. I mean, any certification, right? So anything with this highest level, right? They would have gone through a lot of rigor, and I would, rather than just choosing a certification, I would also choose the trainer, who will actually add to me in terms of their experiences, expertise, and also initiate me towards a new thinking, so to say, right? I think, again, I feel lucky enough to have been in some of those classes from the last 20 years in my career, right? I think Mikhail will also do that. And I think Sugam was in my class once, right? So, right. So, again, it's mostly about the experiences and expertise and the new world they will show you. That's what I would look for, right? And trust me, any certification or any degree for that matter. I mean, I think most of us are in this call. We have gone through a 3-year or a 4-year degree, and some of you have masters and some of you have PhDs as well, right? Just putting out, I'm a PhD holder in physics will not get you a job. You have to prove your worth to a potential employer. You have to search for a potential employer and prove your worth to them, unless maybe you are a born genius, I mean, which is very rare, right? So So I would put it out, when a PhD will not get you a job. So don't think a certification will get you a job, but you have to make the best use of that one in terms of you have acquired a bit of knowledge, start that journey in that direction and see where it takes to you. Sorry, Michael, you had something.
No, I would just add very short thoughts on that, because especially the SAFe certification, and I'm agreeing 100% with what you said. But normally, when you have a big organization moving towards a new way of working, so the certification is giving you also the possibility to learn a new vocabulary, a new glossary, a new language, so that everybody in the organization can speak and communicate easily using the same terms. And when you are talking about iterations, so everybody will know what this means. When you will talk about PI planning, everybody will know what you are speaking about. So this is the other component of the certification that is also important.
Yeah.
I think that will help. I mean, it leverages skills as well as you leverage just understanding of the whole system and as to how the organization is working. I think that's how certifications help. Now, I've only linked a couple of courses here, but if you would like to look at other courses, please check out, the other SAFe certifications that we have. Someone wanted to know the fees and everything. The training schedules differ for each certification. You can check that on the particular course page. So please check out those links for such details. Now someone has a question. Yeah, another question that is similar here. Are these courses really suitable for product-owned businesses or startups? How will this work best with a service provider? Mikhail, do you want to take this question?
Well, I don't think they are general in nature, if you want, and I have seen in my own experience, my own career, so a lot of big companies, big multinational company leveraging on SAFe or lean and agile practices. Of course, startup, and maybe not the startup with 5-6 people, but startups with 50, 60. So they are also leveraging, especially on the more strategic layer, so lean portfolio management and all this stuff. So I wouldn't agree with this statement that this is only for own businesses and startups with small and mid-sized companies. I would rather say, well, SAFe is more relevant for bigger organization potentially. So.
Got it. All right. I think, Abdul, I hope that answers your question. And someone is asking, okay, does this program really provide job guidance after training? I think we answered this question as well. There's no job guidance as such, but you will definitely understand how you can leverage this certification and find opportunities that are of your interest, that suit your profile more. Right. And also PV Thakur, I think we answered this question in the beginning as to which role you can start with, how you should choose a certain path. All of that was answered. So let me proceed to the next question, which is how does a Scrum Master promote a culture of continuous improvement? Ashwini, would you like to take this?
Sorry, what was that? No, I didn't hear that.
No problem. So how does a Scrum Master promote a culture of continuous improvement?
Yeah, again, this is where the knowledge and the know-how, I mean, both of them come together, right? So, see, continuous improvement or a continuous learning is not just a word. I mean, it's about what you showcase as well, right? So, on the ground, what you showcase, I mean, people will follow, right? So, I mean, it's like if I am able to showcase those spark in me, people will naturally follow. I think as a Scrum Master, you are a facilitator, you are a coach and mentor to the team. If you are able to showcase that openness, fairness, and the transparency, people will follow the suit. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Just another question that this same person has. What are the key differences between sprint planning and sprint review?
Again, a little out of context, but planning, you start with planning and you end with the review where you are demoing what you have done.
Yes, absolutely. I think we're done with most questions here. If you guys have any more questions, please feel free to put them on the Q&A box. We still have a couple of more minutes to end. And also thanks so much to everyone who've expressed their interest in the SAFe certifications. And we'd like to know just one more thing, which is what do you want us to cover next? Now, would you like us to deep dive into a certain role? Would you want to understand more benefits about the SAFe certifications? Whatever your answer is, please make sure you put it on the poll, and also audience on YouTube who've been really quiet today, no questions from there. But please definitely let us know, because like Sugam said in the beginning, this is the first webinar of the series about SAFe certification. So we'll cover more of this in the upcoming months, depending on whatever input you give us, right? So we'd love to know that, and leaving the poll open here. And also anyone else, here in the webinar, just make sure you hang on for a bit more time. I'm going to launch another poll asking your name for the webinar certificate. Yeah. So once you answer this poll, just wait for a few more minutes for me to launch the other poll so that you can receive the certificate and share it on any of the social platforms. Yeah. Okay, great. So we've got equal amount of votes for both the roles, POPM and SSM. I'm just going to end the poll here and share the results. Hope again the three of you can see. I think we should probably do more benefits of SAFe certificate next before we dive into a certain role. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you for the feedback.
Great. All right. All right. Thanks so much, guys, for your responses, and also thanks for the enthusiasm that you showed today in learning. Yeah, it was great having you and hosting you as well. We've got a few more questions, a couple of more. How can SAFe certified professionals evolve with Gen AI? Again, Ashwini, do you want to take?
Again, SAFe has an article around responsible AI. And also, there is I think, a micro credential around the Gen AI as well. So SAFe is always an evolving framework. It's not stagnating, and it's an evolving framework. It will always include whatever is new in the industry, right? And I think when there is also a lot of thought articles and blogs on the Scaled Agile website on how AI, generative AI, and a responsible AI, those combinations, right? Can work with a SAFe implementation.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Okay, I think one more question. So if stakeholders push unrealistic deadlines, how should the Scrum Master? This is a very specific.
Yeah, that's better answered as a separate discussion.
Discussion. Yeah. So we'll probably take this up when we actually do a session on Scrum Master, and you can get these questions answered then. Right, but again, great to have you all. So I'm very quickly launching the poll that asks your name. So make sure your full name is entered properly, with proper spaces, formatting, and everything, because sometimes we receive random entries. So we want your certificate to be the way that you want it to be, so that you can share it. So make sure your name is entered properly. And then I will close this session. So someone looking for these resources, I'm just going to share the link to the Scaled Agile blog posts. You can check out. Yeah, I've shared the link on the chat. You can check whatever article seems interesting to you. Could take a look and read and explore more resources on the website. And of course, I've also shared the link to the certifications. If you're interested, make sure you reach out to a learning advisor through our course page. Yeah. All right. So another few seconds, I'll close the poll here. And we'd also like to know how much you enjoyed the session. So just a quick poll on, I know you guys answered a lot of polls today, but trust me, this is going to be the last one on how satisfied you are with what we covered today. Yes, just let us know and help us in the further sessions that we hold. Great, great. So while we do that, any other closing thoughts, Sugam, Michele, and Ashwini, anything else that you would want to share?
Well, just say thank you to the audience first and to all the people that were asking questions, and also to you for hosting us. Thank you very much and see you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Same
And
thoughts.
good
Same
night
thoughts.
to those who have joined from India.
Yeah.
Great, great, great. So thanks everyone for joining in. Remember, you can watch this session on YouTube as well. So this also streamed on YouTube. So head to Simplilearn's YouTube channel for watching this session, but be rest assured you'll receive the recording as well. Thanks, Michele, Sugam, and Ashwini. Thank you so much. Have a
Thank
great
you.
You. Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Bye.